All right. Just one last thing. I just want to do a little bit of an exercise. Just something you can sort of, I guess, take home and sort of think about. I need a volunteer, but who would like to volunteer?
Craig. 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 Gary. I'll do it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. You just picking up names. Start with names. What closest?
Still getting hurt.
If you guys can see that, it's pretty small. I'm running out of a bit of space here. All right, so I guess when providing feedback in regards to a certain movement or a certain skill that you're trying to achieve, I guess there are constraints, okay, within the movement that you're trying to achieve. There are constraints that I guess, stop the players from achieving that at present. Okay, I won't harp on the physical side of things at the moment. It's just more about, I guess, and Andy sort of addressed it a little bit earlier, talking about with throwing mechanics. You address the intent and the environment. We can pretty much address that right there and then at a practice session. Okay, so I guess, say for example, we're not stepping in a straight line to our target when we throw. All right, I guess we change the intent. What can we do in regards to changing the intent of that activity? So if say for example, I'm throwing a woozer up there, where right now we're at 90 feet away, but I'm right now just sort of stepping out to the side and I'm sort of throwing the ball around a little bit. What can I do as a coach to change the intent to try and improve mechanics?
Follow your target.
You can follow your target, so I guess when you're throwing, you can head towards your target, so that's the intent there.
So they will automatically correct without realising they do it. So that's Ken's ability.
Yep, that's one way. I guess what I'm trying to get out of you guys as well is just there's more ways to skin a cat type concept. So that could be one theory. Is there another idea? I'm just putting you guys on the spot at the moment, but is that what would be?
Nose towards a target.
Nose towards a target. So I'm changing my intent as opposed to me just stepping and throwing. Now all of a sudden my nose has got to go to my target. Okay, I'm following through towards my target.
Point first.
Sorry?
Point.
You can point, yep. So you change your intent a little bit. All right, in regards to what you're trying to achieve there. And what about environment in that situation? What can we do in regards to the environment? So resources, distance. You're right, Trevor, yep. Shorten it up a little bit, yeah. So all of a sudden it becomes a little more achievable, a little more easier to get to. And then once they get to a stage with good mechanics, we stretch them back a little bit further.
Change angles to the throw, so they're getting it from a different angle and then throwing to another angle, so that they instead of just going.
Oh, okay, yeah, right, yeah, it's a bit of yes, gotcha, yep.
So you're increasing and
yep.
Always advancing or making it different.
Yep, and another basic one, we mentioned it before, you just put probably a marker on the ground a little bit there as well. All right, so just change the environment there, change the size of the ball, all that sort of stuff. All right, so quick example, I just want to give you guys a quick example and leave it with this in regards to changing the intent and the environment with a certain activity. So I would like someone to give me a hand, please. And then I'm done. Then you can stop hearing me talk. Who have I got? Matty?
Yep.
You played noughts and crosses before?
Once or twice.
All right, I'll be noughts, you be crosses. All right, so I'll play noughts and crosses.
Tell him to hurry up, will you?
Good game.
Good game's a good game.
Am I supposed to let you
Yeah,
in?
no, you win. Sweet. All right, so we just played a game of noughts and crosses. The intent is to win, obviously get 3 in a row. All right, Matty won. Okay, but how are my circles compared to Matt's crosses?
They're all different sizes.
So yeah, yeah, are they a little bit neater than Matty's crosses? All right, do I have a better looking swing than Matt? Is this here I'm sort of leading towards now? All right, my swing looks better than Matt, but who won?
Yeah.
Matt, right? Okay, but his mechanics aren't fantastic. All right, so for me to change the intent and the environment, if you guys can see, this is a quick example. We're still going to play noughts and crosses, but now Matt has to go from corner to corner, corner to corner. All right, ready?
one of the corners
Yep.
of the box.
There we go.
So control the environment.
Yeah, there we go. And I've changed the intent, I've changed the environment, so I'm controlling the environment now. Now all of a sudden, Matty's swing's looking pretty good.
Right.
And he also won the game. All right, so that just a quick snapshot, just for something to think about in regards to, I guess, where I haven't said anything in regards to how Matt should hold the pen, what his elbow should do, how he should stand. All right, it's just I've changed the intent, and he still came out with a pretty good outcome. He still won, all right, or he still hit the target. He still did that, but now he's a pretty good looking swing. That sort of makes sense. So just sort of leave you with that one. Sweet.
All right. Good thinking, Shane. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, sir. We will we'll end it there for today, but we've got a bit more coaching theory that we'd like to go through in that next session. So next week we're going to continue with a little bit of coaching theory to start with. We're going to talk about creating a positive learning environment for kids, for athletes, a good supportive environment where they're, learning and all that sort of stuff. We'll talk about how to do that, and then we're going to talk about our hitting development model and our throwing and pitching development model. So some specifics about some of the things that we're going to go through as part of this program. Now, that will already be one session into our program at this stage. Session starts on the 3rd of May. But it'll happen before the second session, so you won't have missed too much of the program before you get that information. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully most of the instructors that have been there before will know all of that stuff and can help you with that stuff for the first session. For those who want to be involved or want to come, we have our QBA induction, which is the first session for all of the first athlete education session, which will give them largely a lot of information about the program for them as athletes. They'll get to pick up their shirt and cap. That'll be at Redlands on May 2nd. So the Friday night before we start the program on the 3rd. So we start in Brisbane on the 3rd at Indians for Brisbane South, Narangba for Brisbane North, and All Stars for Brisbane Metro. And then the following Thursday we start on the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast region will run on the Thursday night. That'll be at Mudgeeraba. So that's obviously not far away. Make sure you take all of these resources with you. In relation to the session plan, I just wanted, for those of you who haven't seen these session plans before, lots of information there. So have a bit of a look, get your head around what's in there. As Shane said, they'll give you some session goals. They'll give you the schedule for that session on the bottom left. And then on the right-hand side, it'll actually give you a bit more details about the objectives. What are we trying to achieve with each of those? So based on different circumstances at different regions, we still give the regional coordinators a little bit of flexibility based on the resources and stuff they have access to on that night, the number of coaches, the number of, the amount of equipment and stuff depending on where they are, to change whatever is happening specific to try and achieve the outcomes that we've identified are important that are on that right-hand side. So hopefully the program will run nice and consistently and will be pretty similar everywhere we go, but these session plans actually outline what it is that we're trying to achieve. They've also got some references in there that relate to either the RAMS manual, which there's a few documents from today that are from the old RAMS coaching manual, but also the Level 4 accreditation material. So
So on that end, is that all back up online yet?
What's that?
I looked in the last week or so, all that information, because none of the coaches that when you change the website over.
Yeah, no, Facebook Queensland, we haven't
haven't got there yet.
updated our coaching website yet. We're in the process of doing it.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it will be.
Just so you know, the QBA coaching education program, as we got up here on the thing, involves everybody, all coaches, because again, we want excellence in coaching. We're promoting excellence in coaching. We want everyone to be trying to get better at what they're doing. So the education stuff we're running is for everyone. But the QBA coaching internship is basically for those people who want to update their accreditation. So again, these session plans are going to be important for you. So each week you'll get a session plan. And hopefully you'll get it a week in advance. Now you may not for the first session this week, but or on the 3rd, but from that point on, basically you will. And it'll give you a reference in the NCAS Level 4 Coaching and Accreditation Manual of the particular areas that we're going to cover in that session. So basically what the intention is, you get given your session plan, it'll give you some details about what areas of the Level 4 accreditation manual you should be going to. Have a bit of a read through that stuff. The references, just so you know, will actually relate to the practical assessment manual, not the big thick coach's manual. So if you go, when we do make sure that stuff gets back up online, or if it's not up online, we'll email it to you. There's the coaching manual, which is how many pages? 110 odd pages long or something like that. Pretty big thick document with all of the information that you need to know in there. And then there's the practical assessment manual. The practical assessment manual is what you would be assessed on if you were delivering that in your accreditation assessment. All right, that's a little bit more specific. That's a little shorter than what's actually in the manual. So the references in this relate to the page numbers of the practical assessment manual. All right, so when you then refer to these and you're trying to find more information, it refers to the practical assessment manual. That'll give you the very bare bones, the basics of what you need to know when you are assessed on that area. Right, and then if you need more details from that, that's when you will then go back to the Level 4 accreditation coaching manual. You will find the relevant section in that and do further reading. All right, that way it'll give you a chance to prepare for the information that will be delivered at the next QBA session. Does that make sense? All right, so the session plans will be important resources, part of your ongoing learning, to help direct you to the specifics from the Level 4 accreditation manual that relate to your next session. All right, so keep that in mind. Hope that made some sort of sense to you. So all the details of the program, hopefully, that relate specifically to you guys is up there. The coaching internship, as we just discussed, we will, if you stick it out through the program and do at least 10 sessions with us, the QBA will happily pay for your accreditation update at the end of the program. So if you stay with us and you do your education through us, we'll pay for your assessment. Obviously, you have the 2 coaches education since today and Friday, the 9th of April. You get 16 on-field sessions, so you can come along to all of those sessions, get your session plans, talk to the regional coordinators, immerse yourself in the learning material actually used at practice, and obviously ask lots of questions and stuff like that and talk to other coaches about the material. We will have some learning material that we'll send out each week, hopefully in a variety of different resources. And some little learning activities, maybe a couple of quizzes here. It won't be anything too onerous, it won't be anything too time consuming, but hopefully at the end of the whole process, by the end I would like each of you to produce one learning resource in a specific area that other coaches could use. One of the keys that we're trying to do is create as many different coaching resources as we can. So what I'd like you guys to do throughout the course of the program is, from all the questions that you ask, from all of the stuff that we talk about in regards to the learning material, each of you guys is going to pick one specific area, and it doesn't have to be long, doesn't have to be in-depth, but I want you to produce one learning resource that we could use to help other coaches learn whatever that specific area is you decide to. So it could be fielding backhands, or it could be throwing a curveball, or it could be bullpen routines and how they help a pitcher, or it could be the 6Fs or whatever it is, but we want you to. So that could mean, one paragraph in terms of a written document, it could be a 2-minute video file, it could be something else, however creative you can be, that if you guys can produce one learning resource each, that means we've got potentially 25 or 30 learning resources by the end of this program that we can then in turn use for other coaches who can't be there. All right, so obviously, as we've talked about tonight, one of the best ways to learn a skill yourself is to what? Teach it to somebody else. So if you guys can put a resource together and try and teach something to somebody else, hopefully you guys will help get to know that subject matter even better by having to teach it to somebody else. So again, it doesn't have to be anything too comprehensive, but by the end of this program, I'd like each of you, if you can, to produce some sort of learning resource that we can use with other coaches. Make sense?